You! Come with me, we have much to discuss. No, that's terrible. Hello everybody, my name's Bimler. Today we're going to be talking about Porter Robinson's 2021 album, Nurture. Let me tell you something about me. I love sad music. I love crying. I truthfully have a very big shortage in my repertoire of genuinely uplifting and happy music. A lot of the stuff I listen to is very much just downtrodden, sad, at best cathartic. Oh no, I've moved. And usually not happy. That's probably the last thing on the list when it comes to what's usually in my playlists. This album's a glaring exception to that. A bit of backstory about this album. It came out 7 years after his previous full-length LP, Worlds, in 2014. Something I haven't heard. This is actually my first Porter Robinson album that I've ever heard, or any project by him. I've been relatively aware of Goodbye to a World because I was an Undertale kid, but I didn't know it was him. And I definitely didn't know anything about the album it came off. I want to move. I hate sitting down. I'm gonna move. You know, I hate this spot. I want to go somewhere else. I had heard word about Nurture and Porter Robinson in general throughout getting into music and whatnot, through like people just saying, "Oh, Nurture is really good. Oh, Blossom makes me cry. Oh, this, that, and the other thing about how Nurture is this really cool, just a really good album." But I didn't know much about it. And to be honest with you, it wasn't really on my to-listen list. But one day, a certain friend of mine took me into this world and said, "Hey, let's listen to Nurture, front to back. Just lay down on the grass and listen to it." And, well, it wasn't what I expected at all. What did I expect from this album? I expected pianos, maybe some strings, I don't know. Just your very natural, maybe like a moon-shaped pool kind of sound. And while I wasn't the farthest thing off, what I wasn't expecting was EDM. At all. I wasn't expecting higher energy bangers on this album, songs like Musician or Get Your Wish or Something Comforting. That doesn't mean I didn't like them though, because I absolutely adore this album. I actually think it's amazing. I guess we'll just go track for track, starting with Look at the Sky, the first like full-length song on the album. This one I actually don't care for the sound as much, however the topic of the song and the way it is explored throughout is absolutely phenomenal. Talking about pushing through a creative burnout, creating something good, it's a simple ass song, but it's really good. It's really amazing and it's really heartfelt. And hearing the song with the context of it having taken so long after Worlds is really cool and really goes to show like, hey, Porter had this mindset. He's not just talking out of his ass about creative burnout. And as cool as that track is, I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm a little bit partial to the next track, Get Your Wish, which I think is an unpopular opinion. But I think the sound on Get Your Wish is one of the coolest on the whole album, and that chorus just hits like I'm on a fucking train. It's so good. It did interest me that a lot of vocals on this album are put through some kind of vocoder or effect to pitch up the vocals and make them sound a bit more digital, which was honestly something I wasn't a big fan of when I first heard the album, but it's grown on me quite a bit and gives the album a bit of its own touch. The album very much feels kind of like artificial nature in a way, which I guess is kind of what it was going for. Porter is an electronic musician first and foremost, and this album demonstrates that. It is the most lifelike, no pun intended, thing he could make while sticking to his sound, and I think it's really genius. Track 4, Wind Tempos. Spoiler alert, this is my favorite song on the whole album. I love Wind Tempo so much. I could talk about this song forever. It's super sentimental to me. I have a lot of close related feelings with it about a lot of the friends I've made over the past little while, and the person who showed me this album as well. But also just, the song is beautiful. The first long passage of the song is a very simple piano arpeggio that just kind of feels like you're gliding along a field. It is beautiful. It is simple and it is beautiful, with a lot of chopped electronic samples of vocals and whatnot throughout as well. Interlacing with the piano arpeggio to kind of keep things interesting as it comes along. And I think it gives it a lot of interesting texture. It's really cool. And the vocal part of this song is heart-wrenchingly broken up and electronic and just sounds just really heavy. And I love that about this song. It doesn't really pull any of its punches, and it is gorgeous the whole way through. Not slowing down the pace at all, we get track 5, Musician. And oh my goodness, this song is a banger. This song goes hard. That sample at the start always gets me pumped, and just the whole song has this really high energy feeling. Musician feels like a more realized version of Look at the Sky to me. Not that Look at the Sky was lacking anything, mind you. but it feels a lot more like sending a very similar message to Look at the Sky, whilst, in my opinion, being a better song. It's another song about creative burnout, and thankfully it's kind of the last one, which is good, because I feel like the worst thing you could do to get out of creative burnout is make an entire album about creative burnout. It would just not resonate with a lot of people, and it would kind of fall flat. But thankfully, the two big songs we get about creative burnout on Nurture are phenomenal. And then towards the middle of the album, right after this short interlude with Do Re Mi Fa Sol La Ti Do, which kind of sounds like it could have straight up come out of like an Animal Crossing game, there's a bit of a lull in the middle of the album. I don't think that's really a hot take. A lot of people agree that the 3-track run of Mother, Dulcithe, and Sweet Time are a weaker point on the record. Some would even argue Mirror, although I don't think so at all. However, I will say, shout out to Dulcithe. I actually think that song sounds really cool, and the experimentation of it is really welcome here. It does give the middle of the album a bit of variety and life where it needed it. I did mention Mirror just a second ago. That song, admittedly, hasn't grown to be a favorite like a lot of the other songs on this album have, but it is still a really good song. The chorus is still really heavy. Just kind of another great song on a great album. That's really all I can really say about Mirror. But then we get into the phenomenal final leg of the album, starting with the iconic Something Comforting. Oh, that drop is amazing. Punchy, well-produced, just amazing sounding, and not to mention the lyrics are very heavy. And when I say heavy when talking about song topics or lyrics on this album, I want to clarify I don't mean sad. What I mean is it covers a very heavy topic. However, something Nurture is very good at doing is covering those heavy topics in a really healthy way. This album just kind of feels like healing. It kind of feels like a relaxing reflection and acceptance of negative feelings, which is really cool, conceptually and in execution. I think the biggest and heaviest example of this is the next track, Blossom. If you didn't cry the first time you've listened to this song, then you probably haven't cried in a long time, and you should really learn how. Because this song is so emotional. This song is so beautiful. It's the closest thing we could get to an acoustic song from Porter Robinson, and it is a song dedicated to the love of his life. Very sweet, slow, soft vocals. The part of the song where he says, "It's just that I love you," and for a line, the vocal effect cuts away, and it's just him saying that. God, every time I hear this song, that brings, like, tears. It's so good. So good that when I first listened to the album, I didn't even get a proper chance to appreciate the penultimate cut on it, Unfold, because I was too busy crying from Blossom. But Unfold, not a bad track at all. In fact, I think it's an amazing and epic way to really close off the album. It's not the closer, that would be Trying to Feel Alive, but that song feels more like a credits roll sort of thing, whereas Unfold feels like the grand finale to the album. I don't really know a whole lot about the feature on that track. Totally Extinct Enormous Dinosaurs, I think they're called. Let me check. Totally Enormous Extinct Dinosaurs. Don't really know a whole lot about them. They do really good on this song. And the song in general is just a very grandiose, very Porter Robinson finish to this amazing, very Porter Robinson record. I made a comparison to Radiohead's A Moon-Shaped Pool earlier in this review. And honestly, I think this record gives me a very similar but very different feeling to that album. When I listen to Radiohead's A Moon-Shaped Pool, it very much to me feels like wandering through the woods, getting lost in nature, trying to find some kind of respite to whatever negative emotion is going on inside your head. This album feels like finding that spot, sitting down and reflecting, and like I said before, accepting those negative feelings. And it's a healthy side of the same very unhealthy coin to that album, for me at least. But that's all I really have to say about Nurture. I'd give it an A+. I think this album's phenomenal. Even with its weakest points, this album hits, and it hits hard. Shout out to my friend, you know who you are, for showing me this album. Thank you. Yeah, I can't wait for his next album to come out later this year. Smile, D. I've heard all 3 singles from it. They're all phenomenal, so I'm really excited to hear what he does with his next project. But yeah, what do you guys think of Nurture? If you've heard it, if you haven't heard it, go listen to it. Either way, if you like this video, leave a like down below, subscribe if you want to see more, and ring the bell to notify you when those new things come out. I know it's been a while since the first review. I've been busy with a lot of stuff, and also, admittedly, I'm going on vacation literally today, so I'm not going to make another review for a little bit around a week. But when I get back, it's going to be one of the first things I do, so keep an eye out for that. I've got plans. Big plans. And yeah, see you guys in the next one. Adios.